business on your own, or if you're not yet affiliated with a chamber, I would say that's one of the best ways to find a good network and an opportunity to build upon your business. So, that's enough of my plugs. There you go. It's all yours, John.
All right, fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is actually I enjoy this workshop. I do this every single year in December, or actually in November and December. And the thing I love about this workshop is the principles that I've learned over the last 29 years in building now 7 companies from scratch, 3 multi-million-dollar businesses, and then helping and coaching and consulting, gosh man, thousands of business owners all over the country. Training thousands of salespeople, but the reason I love this so much is the principles here are not just business, but you can apply them to every single aspect of your life. So the way I look at every single year is, am I one notch better this year than I was last year? And as long as I can compound that many months, that many years in a row, I get to live a fulfilled life. And so I'm going to talk about how you do that here, but before we get started, sir, I didn't get a chance to meet you.
My apologies. Del Marks. I have a small business in Loomis, Trax Industrial Products.
Okay, fantastic. And how long have you been doing that for?
Finished the buyout in January of this year, so almost a year. Thank you.
It's your first business?
It is. Well, yes.
Okay.
Real business, we'll call it. Yes.
Real business. Got it.
It's done a lot of different things, but
fantastic. So, I want to start off with a quick story. So back in the late 1800s, there was this pastor that used to travel from town to town, and everywhere he would go, they would set up this massive tent like this, and they had the sides open because it was standing room only, and he would give this amazing speech. He developed an unbelievable reputation, almost like Joel Osteen. Who knows who Joel Osteen is, right? So fills an entire arena. And he's having a lot of fun until he comes to this one town. And he comes to this one town, and all his people go out and they hand out the flyers and set up the tent, and everything is ready to go on Sunday at 12 o'clock to hear this guy give the best speech he's ever given. And 12 o'clock comes around and nobody's there. 12:05, nobody's there. Finally, about 12:15, this one cowboy comes riding down on his horse there, hitches it to the stake, comes in, sits in the front row, kind of like you are, and is ready to hear this amazing speech. Frustrated, not knowing what to do, the pastor comes off the stage and he goes, cowboy, I've never had this happen. It's usually sold out. What should I do? Cowboy shrugs his shoulders and goes, I don't know. But I tell you this, if I went out to feed my herd and only one showed up, I would feed it. Preacher goes, you're absolutely right. Jumps back up on stage, and for the next 3.5 hours, gives one of the most amazing speeches he's ever given in his entire life. I mean, sweat dripping, breathing heavy, comes right on stage. Oh, everybody goes, Cowboy, what did you think, man? That was the best one I've ever done. Cowboy is sitting there seemingly agitated, kind of ticked off, you know? And he goes, what did you think? And Cowboy goes, I don't know, man, but I'll tell you this. And he was very serious. He goes, if I went out to feed my herd and only one showed up, I would feed it, but I sure the hell wouldn't dump the whole load on it. And so, I'm not going to dump the whole load on you today. Okay, what I am going to talk about is we're going to talk about 3 ways to 10x your results. Not just go into next year with just a little bit of growth, but 3 ways to 10x your results in pretty much every area of your life. Who would like to have a huge increase in every area of your life next year? Okay. Number 2 is we're going to go into designing your 2020 strategic plan. The reason I love this workshop so much, especially because I keep it small, is so we can do some interaction. I want you to be able to walk out of here today. We're going to have your vision statement very clear. We're going to have your mission statement completely done. I want to really nail down what your objectives are for for 2020. And then time permitted, which I think we're going to be able to work out, is if you're transparent enough and you want to be vulnerable enough and open enough about what your objectives are, I want to give you some strategies that you can implement in your business to get to those objectives. Now, the cool thing is I do a lot of coaching and a lot of consulting. I consult regularly 10 clients on a regular basis. I try not to do any more than 10 because there's just one of me. And then I have lots of other coaches in my team as well. But the reason I like to do that is that means that every single week I'm dealing with 10 to 15 brand new business problems every single week, which I absolutely love. And my clients are spread across the different spectrum. I mean, I've got HVAC companies, I've got technology companies, coaches, consultants, you name the business, and I probably know. The thing I realized is about 85 to 90% of all business problems and challenges are the same, but there's always that 10 to 15% that's unique, and I'm very good on the fly. So because of the amount of problem solving I do, we're not going to have to take a lot of time to give you some really good 6 strategies. The other thing is, because I don't want to get too far into the boring details of creating a plan, I'm going to actually give you guys some strategies that will help you really blow up your referrals. I mean, you understand referrals in a business is a whole lot easier to close and a whole lot easier to convert than when you have to create the lead yourself, walk them through the process, and close them, right? And then at the end, I'm going to show you how you can engage with me. The cool thing is, you can't sell nothing here. That's the thing I like about speaking here and at the SBA is I don't have to tee you up to be able to close you on anything at the end, okay? I just get to share great content. So we're going to talk about vision, mission, objectives, some strategies, and I want you to walk out of here with some action plans, which is what we're going to wrap it up with, on what you can go and do, because it's what you do between now and the end of the year that's going to set up that momentum going into January. I highly encourage you, do not wait until January to take action. The key right now is to hit it hard between now and the end of the year. Why? Because your competition is going to back off. How many of you understand competition sucks? Okay? Competition is not good for us as business owners. Now, how many of you agree, right? It's good for the consumer, right? But I want to show you how to dominate your space. Literally be the dominating force, the dominating driver in the space that you own. And then lastly is we're going to create some plan for some massive action in 2020. So before I get started, I want to kind of share with you a little bit about my background. But before we get started, I want to know what your intention is for being here. Now, here's my intention. My intention is I'm not going to leave anything out. Okay? I'm going to share with you every single thing that you need to do to walk out of here and take step-by-step action. In fact, I'm recording it as evidence that I did something. Okay? And if you want a copy of that recording, you just simply give me your business card or go to my website or send me a carrier pigeon, whatever works for you, and I will get you a copy of that video. That's my intention. If you think about it, you're going to spend about, you probably spend 15 to 30 minutes driving here. You're going to spend about 2 hours here, and you're going to spend about 15 to 30 minutes driving back to wherever you came from. So that's going to be 3 hours of your time that you will never, ever get back ever in life. And so the only thing I'm going to request that you do is that you play full out. Okay? Play full out while you're here. I would put this phone on silent. We'll take a break halfway between so we can all, take care of Mother Nature if we need to. And I want to get some work done here today. Now, let me ask you this. How many of you committed are absolutely 100% committed to the success of your organization? Okay. I mean, hands down, not you, right? Just everybody else? No. You're committed to it? Okay, I'm just messing with you. So, absolutely committed, right? Okay? So, if I told you Sunset here is a pretty major street in Rockland, right? And you're willing to do whatever it takes to get your goals, as long as it's honest, moral, legal, ethical, and so forth, right? Okay, is everybody on board, right? Okay, so if I said, hey, you have to dress up in a painter's suit, and I want you to ride this toy donkey down Sunset here with fire coming out of your butt, would you do that if I could tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt you can achieve your dreams and goals?
Yeah.
Would you be willing to do that, right? Okay, unfortunately you don't have to do that, but it makes a good point. You gotta be willing to do whatever it takes to get there. So, usually when I talk, because I don't think any of you, have you heard me speak before? Anybody in here ever heard me speak before? No? Okay. There's usually 3 questions. Number 1, who is this dude? Number 2, why should I listen to him? And number 3, what's in it for me? Okay. Pretty fair, right? So, in April of 1987, I was 17 and a half years old. My parents left, okay, both of them divorced. This house is located on 40th Avenue and East 14th Street in Oakland, California. Pretty safe neighborhood, right? No. Anyways, I convinced my stepdad, I said, hey, put this abandoned trailer that you're leaving at the old house, put it behind your mom's house. This is his mom's house. She was never home. And I think she was in her 90s, so I didn't even know the lady really. I'd never seen her. Like this house, I swear to God, man, had about 35 cats in it. It stunk. Okay, I didn't put this trailer behind this house, no windows, and I chose to drop out of high school because I was heavily addicted to drugs. And I'm like, you know what? You guys move out of town. I'm not going with you. Okay. So pretty much I was kind of living on the streets. Had a part-time job at an auto parts store, but I was a mess. My dad was a tow truck driver. My mom was a waitress. Neither one of them ever graduated from high school either. In fact, nobody had ever graduated from high school in my family on both sides. There was no success example at all. And so that's where I was in 1987. Until a guy named Gary Ballard, my very first mentor, came along, who I met when I was 12. Kept telling me the entire time I was growing up, but I would sweep his parking lot at the auto parts store and wash the cars and do all kinds of interesting jobs. And he kept telling me, he says, you know what? Just because your parents are like that doesn't mean that needs to be your life. Doesn't mean where you come from does not matter where you're gonna go. And I didn't really understand that at the time, but it was a very conflicting statement than what was existing at home. Now I'm going to land the plane here in just a second, because there's a reason for this story. If you fast forward, September 24th, 2010, from 2007 to 2009, was the economy good or bad? Pretty bad, right? Economic collapse happened in 2008, 2009 got pretty bad, right? So I managed to take a company from nothing to $1 million in about 3 years and kept that 63% growth rate while the economy was collapsing. So how does somebody go from homeless, high school dropout, drugs, I mean, I would have been in prison, cleaned himself up, went into the military, met some mentors, and then this would be my 3rd company to build to over $1 million. How does somebody do that? It's simple. It's through the mentors that you have in your life. It's through the people that have come into your life. So if you get nothing else, this is a guy named Dave Aney. He and I are still really good friends today. He's going to come to he met me when I was 20, right before my 20th birthday. 21st birthday. October 28th, 1990. So right before my 21st birthday. And he's going to come to my 50th birthday celebration in about 2 weeks. So that's how long we've known each other. He's been a really good mentor of mine. He's the one that helped me. If you get nothing out of what I'm talking about here today, especially if you're a business owner, get a mentor. Not all mentors cost money, but find 1 or 2 people, and here's a big time caution. 1 or 2 people that you really resonate with and follow what they are recommending. You start getting more than 3, right? 3 or more, the messages get confusing. Because I might say, okay, you want to get to this point, and I might say, here's the strategy and the actions you need to take. You go over here to mentor number 2, and he might say, no, you should go this way and then that way, and then you'll get there. Then you might go over here and get mentor number 3. He says, no, you should go this way and that way. 3 different strategies from 3 different people. The challenge is you'll never get there because you're not taking action. And that's the point. The reason Michael Jordan had a mentor wasn't because he wasn't the greatest basketball player on the planet. It's because he knew he would not play a higher level game. He already knew what to do. He was practicing on his own anyways. So get a mentor, okay? So let's hop into the meat and potatoes. There's 3 ways to increase your results. 3 ways to 10x your results. Number 1 is the inner game, which has to do with our mindset. Number 2 is the outer game, which has to do with our systems. And finally, you can have the best mindset on the planet. You can have, hey, Allie, is the sun on that, the glare on that video?
No, you're good.
I'm good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can have the best mindset on the planet, you can have the best systems in place. But how many of you understand if you can't get your butt to take action, none of it matters. Am I right or am I wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay? So let's talk about the inner game. And we can't really talk about the inner game until we talk about mindset. And one of the mindsets of a champion is that there's always room to grow. How many of you would agree with that statement? How many of you believe that you have potential inside of you right now to perform at a higher level than the level you've been performing at? We all do, right? And so, I want to talk about this morning routine, because I learned a long time ago it's mindset's a choice. It's not a feeling. It literally is a mindset. It's a choice that you make about how you show up. And one of the things that I learned a long time ago is that it's very important. I can't really take care of somebody else if I'm not taking care of myself. How many of you would understand? How many of you go throughout your day and you're spending so much energy and resource just to get to the end of the day going, I didn't really do anything for me, you know, and you're spent, right? And I mean, you've done that just besides me, right? And I said, I wish I could say I'm 100% in this area, but I would be lying. But I'm working on it. And one of the things that I've learned to do is put on my own oxygen mask first, just like they say on the airplane, in order to help the people that are dependent upon me. So how many of you in here have a morning routine right now? Okay. How many of you would like to have a morning routine? Okay, that's really, really good. Okay. So, good book, good resource. I want you to go out and buy. You can either get it on audio or book form or whatever. Okay, it's called The Miracle Morning. And it's by a guy named Hal Elrod. Okay? So Hal Elrod wrote a book called The Miracle Morning. The Miracle Morning will help you craft and create your own customized morning routine. It'll give you ideas. And so one of the things, I'll just kind of walk through what I do, give you some ideas. I've experimented around with this for years. So whether you've got 5 minutes, whether you've got 10 minutes, or whether you've got 2.5 hours, what's important is to take time out for you. Like this morning, I had to give a speech at 7 a.m. Normally I'm getting up at 6 o'clock. I'm taking care of Mother Nature stuff a little bit and doing some coffee. And then I have a chair in my office that I go and I sit in. I have some AirPods that I put on, but before I turn on anything, one of the things I've done over the last 3 months that's worked really well, I've actually enjoyed a lot of it, is I went on Amazon and I got this thing called a meditation chair, right? And it's not like a normal chair like this, it's something you actually sit on the ground, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. But you can use it as a stadium cushion too. It was like $49. But it creates it's comfortable and it creates a perfectly erect position. And it kind of folds out. It's like a little thing that you carry around. But what I found is it fits perfectly in any chair. So the chair I've been using for reading, I just set it in there and it creates this perfectly erect meditation chair, which is really cool. And so I kind of sit down there and really just kind of like this, and the meditation is very important for the mind, okay? And so it's important to get yourself in a balanced position, right? And we're not talking about no, we're not talking about any of that. Okay, now if that's what you want to do, go for it. Okay, but it's really just getting yourself in a relaxed position and breathing through your nose, out through your mouth. Just 2 or 3 deep breaths. Just close your eyes. No music, no nothing. And the reason is get centered on you. And just be present. Before anything else happens, before you check email, before you do anything else, present with you. Once you've done that, what I end up doing is I have AirPods on. There's a little app on my phone called Simple Habit. And I think it's, I want to say $29 a year, something like that. Or you can get the free one. But if you want all the catalog of all the meditations, it'll work on Android and iOS. But I start that meditation music. And I'm going to go through a guided meditation, or I'm just going to listen to meditation music in the background. Recently, I haven't been going through any guided meditation, just been putting on the music in the background and sitting there and breathing and asking myself 2 things. Number 1, what am I grateful for? What am I grateful for? The first 5 things that come to your mind is what I want you to imagine. See, God, the universe, whatever your belief system is, the energy will bring those 5 things to your mind. What are 5 things that you're grateful for? And breathe. And just be thankful for that. Say thank you. Feel that gratitude about whatever those 5 things are for you. And it will be, I promise you this, every morning you ask that question, it will be 5 different things. But I want you to pay attention to your emotional state and how it changes. Your energy level, your excitement about life. Next thing is, according to Google, when I did the search this morning, I did it right before my speech this morning, I said, how many people on Earth? And came back with 7.53 billion people. It was the number at the end of 2017. I'm like, okay. We throw around, in this country, we throw around billions like it's nothing, right? Like, here you go, here's $1 billion. Right? You pull it out of your pocket, right? If you think about it this way, 1 million seconds of time is 12 days. 1 billion seconds of time is just shy of 32 years. And so we're talking 7.53 billion people on planet Earth. And I know this for a fact about every single one of us here. You are the only one that has your fingerprints, and you're the only one that has your DNA. And there's no one out of 7.53 billion people just like you. So you're unique. You were created for a very specific purpose, reason, and only you can find that out. And by taking time to do this, you can get a lot more clarity. See, true happiness and joy comes when you realize, it wasn't the day that you were born, it's the day that you realize why you were born. And you can get there, there's so many different ways to get there, but spending time with you is one of the best ways to know what that is. Because I also know one thing for sure about this morning. You woke up because you're here. Do you realize out of 7.53 billion people, how many tens of thousands of people did not wake up this morning? That yesterday, when they went to bed, they didn't have any idea that last night was going to be their last time on Earth. And they range from newborns all the way up to people in their 90s and 100s. You don't know, right? But the good news is, you're here. And so if you just take time, that's only going to be about 15 minutes. If you just take time to remind yourself that you are, the ratio is this, 1 in 7.53 billion, this is you. You woke up, what are the 5 things that you're grateful for? And now that you realize that you're unique, ask yourself this. What do I want to be, do, or have now that I've been allowed another day? And again, here's the rule. The first thing that comes to your mind, write it down or imagine it. Okay? Just imagine it. Breathe. And literally allow yourself to imagine those things coming true. Continue to ask that question until you got 5 things. Now that whole process will take anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. And if you think about this, there's 168 hours in a week. Is it too much to ask for you to invest 15 to 30 minutes every day in you? I promise you this, there's 41 days left in this year. 41. There's 407 days until December 31st, 2020. Okay? I promise you this, if you do just this little 15-minute area between now and the end of the year, and you just commit daily. Now, Saturday and Sunday, I don't do any of this stuff, right? But Monday through Friday, this is what I try to do. And if you just commit for the next 41 days to do this every day, this is where it all starts. Because if I can get this right, then everything else is easy. But if you can't get this right, and your spirit right, nothing else matters. Now, how many of you have a friend? A significant other? Okay? If you want to get an idea of how powerful we are as human beings and the energy that we carry, right? Then what I want you to do, can I borrow you for a second, Allison?
Mm-hmm.
You can do this either seated or you can do this standing up. If you're with a significant other, I would highly recommend you do this exercise seated. There's energy that we have, right? So, she happens to be my girlfriend, so I'm not getting frisky here, which I probably am though. But get about 18 inches apart from one another, okay? Sit in a comfortable position and no talking, just look each other directly in the eyes and breathe. And don't break eye contact. Do that for about, and you can do that standing up. So if you're standing up, same thing. About this far apart. And about 1.5 minutes into this exercise, you're going to feel this energy between you two. Whether you like it or not is irrelevant, right? But I want you to look directly into that person's eyes and pay attention to how your breathing changes, how your emotional connection with that person changes. We are energy as human beings. Scientific fact, the human heart produces almost 100 times more energy than the brain. And from about 5 feet away, a human being can tell where that person's heart is, whether they're sad, happy, angry, any of that stuff. And by you spending time with yourself and really getting connected to your center, and then if you're married or you have a spouse or significant other, doing what I just demonstrated there will bring your relationship even that much closer. Okay? But stuff like that and spending time with yourself in the morning will set you up for all this other stuff that I'm going to share with you now. Once you get your mindset right, once you put on your own oxygen mask first, and you do enough of this many days in a row, here's what I personally have experienced. I've got a lot more positive outlook on life. I'm a lot more excited about life. I have a lot more energy level. How many of you just, some of those people that they just walk around, they seemingly always positive and they're always upbeat and you're like, you're full of crap, right? There's no way you can be that happy. Well, some of them are full of crap, you know? But most of them who have that genuineness, they take time to do what I'm talking about here. Because this is not normal stuff for human beings. This is not our normal nature. We have to work on this. But if we want to achieve great things, we have to do something different than what most people do. Otherwise, we're just going to achieve the things that other people achieve. Okay? So, what's wrong with this picture? Here's the reason most people won't do what I just talked about. Because it's easy not to do it. Right? It's easier to take the escalator than it is to take the stairs. Yet, which one has more benefit? The stairs, right? And this is a real picture. This is not like Photoshop. It's like down in Southern California, this is how those people roll down there, I guess. That's what happens. But it makes a point. It's like, hey, if you want to make 2020 the best year you've ever had, you've got to do a couple things. Number one is, when you leave here, all the past that you've been dragging around, why don't you just leave it here, right? They'll have somebody take it out tonight, okay? But you have my permission, just leave it here, because you can't go back and change it, right? And when you walk out of there, give yourself a new clean slate and decide, hey, you're going to do the things that sometimes are difficult. You're going to take the stairs, not the escalator, and it'll make it give you a better result going forward. This is a client of mine. Her name is Deborah Scarpa. So back in, I want to say 2014, in April of 2014, I was at an event, and it was a networking event. They had 7 coaches there. We were asked to give little, I think it was like little 10 to 15 minute lightning round coaching sessions. So the whole group had this scorecard, and they would go around, and we sit down. I sit down with Deborah, and she says, you know what, I've been in business for 23 years, 3,000 satisfied clients, and yet I'm stuck. I haven't been able to grow my business at all. And so I asked her like 3 questions, and I said, here's what I want you to do. Is I want you have a resistance to sales. She says, no, I don't. I go, yeah, you do. Yeah. And just to test everybody in here, when you think of a salesperson, what do you normally think of?
Car salesman.
Car salesman?
Same.
Car salesman? Anybody else?
People trying to sell me stuff on Facebook.
Huh?
People trying to sell me stuff on Facebook.
Trying to sell you stuff on Facebook?
Sure.
Fast talker, slick, liar, manipulative, right? That's what most people think of when they think of a salesperson. I'm just being honest. Because in our society, that's what, a lot of our initial engagement with a salesperson is maybe the person called our parents on the phone and we were young and we witnessed this. Now, because we are naturally born salespeople, every single person on the planet, I don't care who you are, you just try to tell a 2-year-old no. When you're first born, you're constantly crying for what you want. You're very demanding. And you don't care what other people's opinions of you are. Until you hit about junior high, somewhere around in there, you get embarrassed a couple of times, and all of a sudden, you start getting protective. Am I right or am I wrong, right? And so, when I talk with Deborah, I'm like, you have resistance to sales? She goes, no, I don't. I go, well, you're using words like, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be salesy, right? And I said, we need to give you a new definition. Because Napoleon Hill in his book, Think and Grow Rich, in chapter 4, wrote, you can change your mindset. Your subconscious mind is a recording device. It doesn't care if it's right, if it's wrong, if it's true, if it's real. It just records. And it's designed to protect you. That's what it's designed to do. So somewhere along the way, we got this stigma that salespeople are scum of the earth. I had one lady on the front row one time go, they're scum. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I don't want to know what you went through, but it sounds pretty harsh, right? And so we need to give ourselves a new definition. And so I gave Deborah this definition. I said, here's the new definition for you. Selling equals service. Sell from honesty, integrity, and compassion. Selling is about leading. Selling is about moving people to action. So selling equals service, sell from honesty, integrity, and compassion. Selling is about leading, selling is about moving people to action. Now, if you were known to be that, would that be okay?
Absolutely.
Right? And so I said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to write this down on lots of 3x5 cards. And I want you to put those 3x5 cards wherever you spend time. On your fridge, on your bathroom mirror, your computer monitor, your sun visor, your car, everywhere that you spend time, I want that. Can you do that? She said, yeah. Every time you run across that quote for the next 30 days, I want you to read it out loud or to yourself. Can you do that? And she said, yes. I said, okay. That's the only instruction I gave her. Okay? She ended up hiring me as her coach. We started working together. So here we are 30 days later, and big, huge breakthrough in her mindset when it comes to sales. Now all of a sudden, the strategies I'm giving her for sales, for approaching people, for quoting people, for having these difficult discussions with clients are a lot easier because she has a different view and a different definition of what sales truly is. And so what ended up happening, which is really cool, is within, and this is within 3 months, I grew her business 4 times, right? Now she'd been in business for 22 years, 3,000 customers, and I increased her business 4 times in less than 3 months. And then I said, hey, this mastermind, she came to me, she says, hey, I've been offered to join this mastermind group. It's specific to my industry. You know, I'm going to be a part of a group of other business owners that have the exact businesses as I do. What do you think I should do? And again, I go back to what I started off in the beginning is, don't have too many mentors. It's going to get too confusing. And I said, you know what? I would recommend you go join this group. Now, why am I sharing this with you? If you hire a coach or a mentor and it ain't working, right? Or they don't have your best interest in mind, you're not working with the right person. And it was in her best interest to go and work with somebody else. And I'm glad I said that to her. I'm glad she did that because not only did it grow 4 times when she worked for me, but it grew over 40 times in the next 2 years. Now she has a staff and she's a star ninja salesperson and you would never know it when you meet her, right? But what changed? Mindset. And that's why I spent a ton of time on mindset. So let's talk about our business plan. Vision statement. So, first of all, any questions about mindset? Any clarification needed? No? Okay. Let's talk about our 1-page plan. So, right now, everybody got this? Good. Right now, I've got a client of mine who is looking to find an investor to invest about a couple of $1 million. So he's like, hey, can you write a business plan for me for an investor? Which in the past used to be anywhere from 45 to 50 pages long. It could be anywhere from 30 to 50 pages. And it looked really good when everything was said and done. Sometimes $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 in a consultant or a legal person to put it together, and then it's set right there on the shelf. It looked great, and you can bring over people and go, this is my plan, right? But that's about how valuable it was. But today, if you produce more than a 20-page business plan, you look like an idiot to most investors. In fact, it's against you because it just shows that investor that you don't have a lot of clarity around where you really want to go. And so when Phil Bristol came to me in 2006 and told me, he says, you know what? I'm going to challenge you and I'm going to show you how to build your company with a 1-page plan. And I'm like, 1 page? How do you do that? I mean, it's not possible. And I was totally skeptical about that. But if you think about it, in order to do a one-page plan, because it has the 5 main components. It has your vision statement. We're going to get clarity on that. We have our mission statement. We have our objectives. We have our strategies. And finally, we have our action plans. And so what it forces you to do is to get clarity around every single word in the plan. So instead of wasting time or wasting space, you're getting very clear about what you really want. And so instead of these 2 or 3 page vision statements that you can't remember and that have a lot of words that don't have really any meaningful value, it forces you to create a smaller vision statement that's a laser focus. Same thing with mission statement. And no more than 9 objectives, no more than 9 strategies, no more than 9 action plans. Because it's got to fit on one page. Now you may have 35 objectives to accomplish for the year, and objectives are annual or whatever time frame you're going to measure. Strategies are going to be reviewed quarterly, and action plans are going to be reviewed monthly. Of all the businesses I've built and the hundreds of people I've taught this to, this is the most powerful way to get your goals accomplished. Took on a client, Anastasios, December 5th, 4 years ago. So 4 years ago this month, so that would have been 2015. It was at $147,000 a year, had been in business for 7 years. Engineering company. And so in the trades, right? And no employees, just him. Here we are, he's going to end this year about $950,000. 5 employees, has had 0 turnover. Every single one of his employees love him. Over 92% billable rate on average. Now that's average amongst 5 people. So out of 40 hours that they work, 92% of that is billable, which means his bottom line. I've never seen somebody with a bottom line like that. The reason I bring him up is this became a religion for him. He just believed it when I told him. And he did exactly what I told him to do every single month like clockwork. We reviewed the action plans for the month. Every single quarter we reviewed the strategies we're going to use for the next quarter. Every single year in December we review the objectives that we're going to hit for the following year. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you exactly what I'm telling him this time of the year to do to get ready for 2020. Okay? I'm not going to leave anything out. You're going to be able to do this. Okay? And if you want me to review it for you, I'll be more than happy to review it. Because you're not going to get it all accomplished today. But you're definitely going to know exactly what to get done. I'm really get clear on how to, these 2 things are the most important things. Okay? So, vision statement. Vision statement is this. How many of you seen the movie John Wick? Okay? You have it? No worries. Okay? So, John Wick, okay, is this hitman. Okay? It's a really cool movie. Keanu Reeves. Okay. Okay? So, regardless of what version you watch, at some point in the movie, somebody's getting kicked out of the what's the hotel?
The safe house.
The Continental, right? You're either excommunicadoed out of there, right? And so if you violate the rules of the Continental, next thing you know, at some point in the movie, they have this scene where you're walking down these stairs, and then there's this covering, but beyond the covering, there's this fountain right? And it's in Central Park in New York City. And so if I wanted to go, if I said to you, hey, you know what, here's my vision. In December, I want to make a trip to New York. Do you have enough information to visualize where we're going? We know it's New York State, but I haven't told you where, right? So I need a little bit more information. Now, if I said, hey, we're going to go to New York City, New York, from Rockland, California. It's a pretty large city, right? I can picture New York, I picture all the buildings. I don't know about you, I'm picturing the buildings and the Statue of Liberty and my next episode of Blue Bloods and oh wait, that's a whole nother thing. Or in her case, what's that show? Law and Order New York, right? And so, but if I say, hey, we're going to go to Central Park in New York City, New York. Now I'm getting a little bit more clarity, right? But that's a big park. But if I said to you, hey, here's where we're going to go. We're going to go to that fountain in Central Park in New York City, New York. Now can you have a lot more clarity around where we're going to go? That's the difference between a good vision statement and a vision statement that's not going to not only motivate you, but anybody else. So the more clarity we can get around where we're going, the better chance we're going to have of getting there. Vision statements answer a couple of questions. Number one, what are you building? Number two, what will it look like when you get there? And here's kind of a template. Within the next 3 years, I like 3 years because we live in such a fast-paced, changing world. But whatever is going to motivate you, it could be within the next 1 year, within the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Now I'm going to give you all this PowerPoint. Okay? That way you can have it. Within the next blank years, grow what your company name is into a blank $1 million, $1,000, whatever that number is that you can vision. Is it going to be local, regional, national, international? What type of company is it? And then type of company, providing, describe what the products or services that you're going to provide. 2, describe your customer. So within the next blank years, grow company name into a blank $1 million local, regional, national, international type of company, providing description of services to your customer. Okay, so let's do this. Within the next 3 years, who would like to volunteer? Okay, so within the next, how many years?
3.
3 years. We're going to grow, what's your company name?
Milliken Design Studio.
Milliken Design Studio into a $1 million local, regional, national, or international? Regional. Interior design company, interior design firm, providing design services to homeowners.
Homeowners and, I would say, homeowners and company owners.
Homeowners, consumers, residential and consumers. Or residential and commercial.
Yeah, residential.
Okay, I like it. Question is, does it motivate you?
No.
Okay, so you got the format.
Yeah.
So how I would treat it is, okay, within the next 3 years, first of all, is it 3 years, 1 year, 2 years? What's going to motivate you?
2 years probably.
2 years. Then the next 2 years, grow, you got your company name into, is $1 million realistic for you? Where are you at right now? I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
I'm starting out. right
Starting
now.
out.
Yeah, so I feel like $1 million is a far reach.
And is it just you doing the interior design?
Yes.
Okay. How about we target $250,000?
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot.
Okay.
More feasible.
Because definitely $100,000 can happen within the first year.
Yeah.
Between 6 months to a year can definitely happen, for sure.
Yeah.
Can tell you how many people I've helped build 6-figure businesses in 6 months. It can happen with the right work ethic. Okay.
Yeah.
So within the next 2 years, grow your company into a $250,000 regional
I would say interior design practice.
interior design practice, providing. Now here's what you can use: description of products or services.
Yeah.
What I would replace this with is benefits. What are the benefits that you're providing?
Yeah.
Providing
It's
Providing-
more like an environment to be proud of.
complete design work to pull people's dreams out of their head and give them a real world plan. Something.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much what you're doing. You're taking Joe and Mary, they got a home, right? And they're like, man, we own our home finally. Oh my God. And we want to design this. We just don't know how to get there. And all of a sudden, you're the person, you're the gateway that basically takes them from where they're at, gives them all kinds of ideas and stuff, and creates the dream and a plan to go with that. Isn't that what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I think part of the idea behind my business that I really enjoy is, giving people a place they want to spend time in, and like giving people a place that they're proud of, that they're, they want to show off, and the tiny, making it very personal and the tiny attention to detail. That's what really fuels my passion. So yeah, that's
Okay. Now, I know you're just getting started. How many people, whether they're customers or not, whether they're currently in your business or not, how many people since you've been doing this, how many people have you helped so far?
I mean, I can't even put a number on it.
More than 10?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are 10 people out there that you absolutely love and they absolutely love you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So here would be your first homework assignment to really nail down this vision statement, okay? I want you to go to them, all 10 of them, make a list of 10. The more you can do this with, the better. And I want you to ask them this. If you were in a position to refer me to a friend or colleague, would you refer me? If you were in a position, in fact, to save you time from writing, jot down in there, survey to success. In parentheses, put John will send to you. And then you'll remind me of that, please.
Sure.
And I will send you step by step. I'll send it to all of you because it has these questions in there. But basically, we're going to ask them, if you were in a position to refer me to a friend or colleague, would you? They're going to say yes. Say, okay, let's just say you're having a conversation with that person right now. Now, this will apply to any of your businesses, by the way. Okay? Let's just say you're talking to the person that you're going to refer me. What would you actually say? And they're going to tell you. You want to start jotting down all those keywords, what they say about you. Okay? And then you can ask them, like in your type of business, I'd be asking them, where were you at before we started working together? And then what was the biggest value you got when I was done? Right? What was that feeling that you got? What was that benefit that you received? What was different for you? Okay? And what you're going to collect there is you're going to collect 10 different views of what that is, but I guarantee you a lot of them are going to be common. They're going to have keywords that are going to be common language, right? You take that list, find out what the benefits that you actually are providing here, okay? And then you say, okay, within the next 2 years, grow your company to a $250,000 regional interior design practice, providing extremely great value and warm homes to husband and wife, home, whatever it is, right? Because when you get to this point, the 10 people you choose, describe them. Are they husband and wife team, new home, big home, small home, right? I'm going to get into another exercise later on here on how to do that. But what that's going to do is it's going to help you nail down this vision statement. Because if you get this vision statement nailed down, every time a storm comes in your business, every time that you just need to go that extra mile, this is going to drive you. It's got to motivate you. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. Okay? But that's how you really nail down your vision statement. It's one of the hardest things to get done, yet the most important thing to get done. Okay? What is the vision for your business? Now that we have any questions about vision statement? Okay? So, once you hit that or you get close to that, you'll re-engineer your vision statement. Okay? This will get tweaked. Tweak this as often as you need to, only to gain clarity of where you're going. This needs to motivate you. You need to have the extreme clarity of where you're going. Because a good coach will, if you're not taking the actions necessary, then as a coach, I would go back and go, are you still committed to get here? Right? And even if you don't have a coach, you have to ask yourself that question. Am I really committed to this? Because quite frankly, if my actions aren't matching, then I need to get a new vision statement. This has to motivate you. Now, vision statement is okay, I know where I'm going. I'm going, to the fountain in Central Park, New York City, New York. Now, how am I going to get there? And that's where a mission statement comes in. I can take a plane, I can take a car, I can walk, I can ride a bike. There's so many different ways to get there. So how am I going to get there? Mission statements answer things like, who are your customers? Okay? What wants, needs, desires, pain, or problems do you solve? What is your unique selling proposition? What are you committed to providing to your clients? Now I took on a company recently, they have 10 salespeople. I've been asked to take on all 6 out of the 10 and run and really help those people. And when I look at employees, especially if you have employees, one of the biggest secrets to employees is to treat them like they're a business owner inside your business. Don't look at them as employees. You want to get high productivity out of them? Do what Stoss did. I showed him how to treat each individual employee like they are a business owner inside his business. Each one of those employees have their own one-page plan. They have their own vision statement, mission statement, objectives, strategies, and action plans for their specific role, right? And so, what I've been telling these people, I just took them on, is when it comes to mission statement, make a list of answer these 4 questions. Make a list, a laundry list of these things. Don't worry about narrowing it down to a statement just yet. Just make a list of all the things that you do for the customer. What is the experience your customer has? What is the value they receive? What is the benefit they get by working with you? Then through a process of elimination, consolidation, we're going to whittle it down into a 5 to 7 word statement. These are some examples. Federal Express, the world on time. That's their mission statement. I would imagine somewhere, somehow, a board of directors got into a room, they hired a big focus group, they probably spent several millions of dollars on consultants, and probably about 6 months worth of time to come up with the world on time. Okay? But the reason that's important, the reason that's so important is every single investment they make has to support that mission statement or it doesn't get made. It eliminates confusion in your business on what you should and should not do. If I'm gonna make this purchase and it doesn't support my mission statement, it's a very simple no. If I say, hey, I need this monitor that tilts this way, that has a purple streak in the back, and that will help me get to my mission statement, then it's an easy purchase. But it's also an easy no, right? And so, UPS, moving at the speed of business. Notice it's not a vision statement. This is not, a mission statement is not something you arrive at. It's not something that you complete. This is what I do. FedEx is saying, it's been a long time. Hey, how are you? Are you joining us?
No, I don't know, what is this about, or?
Creating your strategic plan for 2020.
Oh, is it about business or
Yes.
job? Okay. Yeah, I was here to see someone about
Oh.
promoting my business, but.
Yeah, go
this
on down
one-
there. Feel
Okay.
free. You can join in on us when you're ready.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? So moving at the speed of business. Okay? It basically says, here's what I do. It's never ending. We're going to Disneyland next week. Disney's mission statement is to make people happy. And as long as the experience at Disneyland is to make people happy, that's what they do. At Disneyland, when you go to Disneyland, everybody's in a great mood. They have to be. That is what their mission statement is to make people happy.
Were you talking about the employees?
Employees.
I was like, parents.
Parents, I don't know about. But their mission statement is big, but helping people to see better 1 hour at a time. My coaching business, eliminating the frustrations of owning the business. That's what I do. There's all kinds of things that I had to experiment around, but when it really came down to, it's like, as a small business owner, largest one I ever done is about 8.5 million. And when you start getting to 100, 250, 500, especially when you start hiring employees, there is a lot of frustrations. And I wish there was a book out there that you could read for every damn problem that happens, but it ain't out there. Okay? Actually, you would never actually make any money if you had to read all the books. Right? And so, my job and the thing I enjoy to do is I love eliminating the frustrations of owning a business. Now, the new corporation I have, which is 10X Consulting Group, because I realized that I'm only one person, is I had to form a new corporation called 10X Consulting Group. And I'm like, okay, it's not just John Pyron, it's me and hundreds of other, ultimately it will be hundreds of other coaches in various different disciplines of business. So what is our mission statement? I'm like, well, it can't be this. That's mine, that motivates me. But the other one is like, okay, helping businesses achieve results faster is what the mission statement is. So that way any investment I make, right, is going to support that. So we got to figure out for your business, okay, in interior design, what is it that you do?
Well, I thought about this, and I had some inspiration from my favorite movie, which is The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
Envisioning, you finally get your home. So
Mhm.
I put "There's No Place Like Home" on my website and my business card, because it's like the journey to get there.
Mhm.
So you're always trying to get there and going through all these different things in life to finally get your home. Some big reward at the end of the tunnel, so.
So creating no place like home experiences, or something to that effect.
Yeah, just to finally have that like feeling of, you got your
Sure.
home, you got your space, this is something to be proud of, this is everything that you wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. I love it. Perfect. Any questions about mission statement? And how important that is? No? Okay. A good solid mission statement, you want to use in your marketing, you want to use in your elevator pitch, going through the exercise of finding out, okay, you're in a position to refer me to a friend or colleague, would you? And all the words that they're going to say is going to help you craft a good solid elevator pitch, right? So that way, if I'm stuck in an elevator with you, only got 30 seconds, and the key to networking events, how many of you, what do you think the number one objective is at a networking event? Referrals?
Already know someone,
You already know someone?
Like say, if you're looking for real estate, oh, I have a real estate agent.
So if I'm going to, let me clarify this. So if I'm going to, let's just say I'm going to Network After Work, which is usually in downtown Sacramento, happens once a month. There's usually about 200, 250 people there. Okay, it's at the Revival now,
Yeah.
right? And so what is your number one objective when you go there?
Thinking of an objection, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I hear someone saying.
Number one objective when you go to an event like that?
Make new connections,
Connection?
relationship building.
Relationship building?
Relationship
else?
building, for sure.
Okay.
Say hi,
Say hi.
introduce
right?
yourself.
To sell, right? To make connections, right? To go there and make connections. So, if you go to my YouTube channel, there is a video up there called How to Get the Most Out of a Networking Event. And one of the things I've learned after being in sales for now 29 years and training thousands of salespeople is posture is everything. Posturing is everything. Negotiation is everything, okay? And the one thing that you never ever want to give up in a sales situation is your posture. Now, if you don't, in business, if you look at your business like this, I'm gonna do my best to draw this, right? So, you got a fireplace, okay? And you've got a log, and you've got another log, and you've got another log, okay? And you got another log, okay? So now you got a really good fire. How long do you think that fire is going to go if you stop putting wood in it? Not very long, right? A business is just like that. If you don't consistently put new wood in the fire is going to go out. And one of the things that I love about sales is it's very predictable. I've got to find a contact that is a potential prospect for my business, or my product or service. I've got to like them. I've got to know that I can help them. I need their contact information. And if I only have 5 people, and I have a fire like this going, and I only have 5 pieces of wood,
Go out to the outside.
and I don't get any more than 5 pieces of wood, every single time I put a piece of wood on this fire, what happens to me emotionally? I get a little nervous because I only have so much wood left, right? But if I have some processes and systems in place where I have 5 to 10 new pieces of wood constantly being added to my stack every week, regardless of how much wood I put on this fire, now how do I feel?
Comfortable.
Comfortable, because I'm operating from a place of abundance versus scarcity. So when I go to a networking event, my goal is to add new wood to my pile. It may go nowhere with that person. Truth be told, I don't go to a networking event looking for my client. I never go to a networking event looking for my client. I go to a networking event looking for a relationship that can lead me to my client. Because I'm thinking more in terms of one to many, right? Versus one-on-one. And I'll never forget, a mentor of mine told me, he says, you know what, John? When you go to a networking event, there's only 2 to 3 people that you need to meet in the entire room. It doesn't matter if there's 500 people in that room. There's only 2 or 3 people that you need to meet in that room. Why do you think he told me that?
Should I go around trying to make friends with everyone, trying to zone in?
Yeah, because I'm not looking there for a client. I'm looking for a strategic relationship. And relationships, true relationships, take time to develop. I can develop 2 to 3 relationships. Very hard for me to develop 200, right? How many of you see these people that go to the networking event and it's like, hey man, how you doing? How you doing? Hey, good. Here you go, man. Hey, here's my card. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? I'm from New York Life. Wait, no, did I say that? I did. That's right. You need to learn. You can't do that. Okay? But that's typically what happens. I walk out of there with 15 to 20 New York Life cards. For some reason, somebody's trying to do that. But instead, I want to come in there. One of the things I discovered is people are very habitual. So if this is the networking event right here, and let's just say that doorway is the entrance, most people, when they walk in a room, they're going to look this way first. Okay? They're not going to look that way. Pay attention the next time you come to a stop sign.
Right.
Most of the time it's to the right. Unless you're doing something illegal and you're on a mentally look to the left. But I notice for myself, it's habitual. It's like I constantly look to the right before I look to the left. Now my son's left-handed, so I haven't asked him that question, but he probably looks to the left and to the right. I don't know. But most of us will look to the right. So what I decided to do is like, okay, I want to go here, I want to meet relationships. Nothing is more awkward for me, and I'm a high D personality. I'm a very outgoing individual to begin with, but I don't like to waste time. And I don't want to come in and then you've got all these people already in conversations and to just go up and join the conversation. I'm like, there's got to be a better way to not put that kind of stress on me. So that, what if I got there early? Right? What if I got there early? Who's to say I'm not the designated greeter? Right? Get a little name badge. Put my name badge right here, because they're looking to the right, because you wear it on your left. What if I come to a networking event, and I come into the room, and I know 3 things that people are going to want to know about at a networking event? What are they? What are the 3 things that most people are going to want to know when they come to a networking event?
The bar.
Where's the drinks?
Food.
Where's the food?
Bathroom.
Boom! First person ever to get all 3. We didn't coach ahead of time, did we? Nailed it.
I've been to a lot of networking events.
So they want to know those 3 things. So I purposely, if I'm looking to get the most out of a networking event and not waste time, number 1 is I decide how many relationships do I want to develop at this networking event before I even go. Number 2 is I go online at the networking event and I look who said they're going. And I take a look at their profiles ahead of time if I have the time. Okay? Then I show up 10 to 15, 20 minutes ahead of time, get registered, and I'm usually the first person in the room. Now I'm the kind of guy, now not everybody's this way, but high D personalities, high I personalities, it's a lot easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. Okay? Now if you're high S, high C, that's like, I can't believe he just said that. I don't even like the guy anymore. You know? But it doesn't matter if the room's open or not. I'm walking in because I want to find out where the food is, where the drinks are, and where the restroom is. Because most people want to know. And so I'm the first person that comes in. Now, this is only if I have a mission, right? And every time I've ever built a business from scratch in the early stages, I was dogmatic about this. Because I wanted to get to a point where I can create enough revenue to hire somebody to do the crap I didn't want to do as quickly as possible. Okay? And the only way that's going to happen is for me to create enough money. And so in the beginning, I'll be completely honest with you as a business owner, you're going to work 60, 70 hours a week, and the faster you get the pain over, the sooner you can hire somebody to get down to a reasonable amount of hours. And so I position myself about right here, and then when people come in the door, I go, hey man, welcome to the event, the drinks are there, the food's there, the restroom's there, make yourself at home, have a great day. If you need anything, just let me know. Now I'm not that animated, right? But you get what I'm talking about. I create them. And people that will come in that recognize me and want to stop and talk, I go, hey man, right now I'm greeting people, I'll connect with you here in a minute, okay? And so what's cool is as these people are coming through the door, I'm banking on human energy. I'm banking on, first of all, I gotta like you. Otherwise, I don't even want, I'm there to make a relationship. And if I don't like you, I don't want to have a relationship with you. So by shaking your hand, looking you in the eye, telling you where everything is, number one, I look like I'm an authority when they can't even. I have the guts to do it. They're not willing. They don't even know what's going on, right? They're like, this guy must be running the event. It's a psychological thing. So when it dies down, now guess what I get to do? I get to step back and go, who do I want to go say hi to? Because I've already said hi to most of the people. It creates such it eliminates a lot of the discomfort that people have when they go to these networking events.
Now, what if I show up at the same networking event as you and I want to be the greeter?
Go for it. There's all kinds of people. There's all kinds of people up there greeting. I do my thing, right? And so you go there, and then you go up and with a conversation, you know, can I borrow you real quick? Would you volunteer real quick? Sure. Thank you. Come on up here, please. So, and I'm kind of getting on the sidetrack, and we're going to get back to this, but I wanted to make this fun today, okay? So if we're standing in a networking event, we're having a conversation like this, is the conversation open or closed? Right now? I'm asking that.
Seat is kind of closed.
It's closed, right? If we're kind of standing like this, kind of stand to the side, we're having a conversation, it's kind of open, right? So that's what you're looking for when you're in a networking event. Thank you. And you just kind of go up and you have a conversation. Now, if you want some really good training on this, the Bible, the absolute Bible on question is a book called Question-Based Selling. The Art of Question-Based Selling. Okay? It's either the art of the question-based selling or somebody looks it up. It's question-based selling, and I forget who the author is, but it's one of those books that you will want to digest for the rest of your life. Okay? Especially the audiobook version. Questions are the secret to selling. Now I'm going to land the plane here and get back to what we're doing here, because there's a reason I'm going into this and why this right here is the most important piece of your business plan. Okay? Why your vision statement and specifically your mission statement. In a networking event, if I meet you in a networking event, every single one of you came in here and I asked, hi, my name is John, you just told me what your name was, right? I asked, what is it that you do? You told me what you do. My next question is, how long have you been doing that? Okay? That's the question. My next question to you, if we were at a networking event, is like, tell me what led you to get involved in that? And I'm going to just listen. You know, and you're going to start telling me all about it. And I'm going to ask one more question. And I'm going to say, man, that is super duper exciting. Okay? What are you most excited about going forward in that type of business? And they're going to tell me. Now, I've asked 5 questions to that individual. If they don't ask me a question about me, they're not open. And I don't take it offensive. I'm just like, hey, it was nice talking to you. I'm going to go meet some other people. Hey, love to connect with you sometime. And I walk away. And it happens, but I'm not going to sit there and waste time with a person that's not open. Most of the time, the person's going to ask me what? What's the first question they're going to ask me?
What do you do?
What is it that I do? That's where having this nice and tight is really important. Because I now have enough information about you to use your information. Right? So if I was talking to you and you answered these questions, I would already have known you're an interior designer. Right? I would have known that how long you've been doing it, what led you to get involved in it, and then if you would let me ask that 5th question, you would have told me why you're excited about things and where you're going. And so when you ask me, what is it that I do? I go, you know what? I help excited interior designers just like you eliminate the frustrations of owning their business. That's what I do. And I smile. And I pause. Why do I pause? Because I want the next question. And the next question, I help interior designers just like you that are passionate about where they're going, eliminate the frustrations of owning their business. Your next question is going to be what?
How do you do
How
that?
do you do that? I go, you know what? Now here's where I have taken, it's like fishing, right? I've gotten my fishing pole, I've got my line, I have just added, I've asked you a bunch of questions, I've gotten all this bait, I put it all together, I put it on this hook, I've added some special sauce, right, to the bait, I put it on the hook, and I just now tossed it back out there, and now I'm baiting on, are you gonna bite it or are you not? And you're gonna go, how do you do that? I'm gonna go, I'm gonna reel it in, because now I can go all off into how great I am. Oh my God, here's how I do it. First we meet for a strategy session, then we do this, then we meet over here, then I charge you this, and then we do this, and I can go all into everything, and we will have nothing after the networking event. Or I can go, you know what? There's a lot of ways that I do that. You and I just met. I'm really just here to get the chance to meet people like you. I tell you what, I actually have a bunch of content online, YouTube stuff, things about what it is that I do. Why don't I just send that to you for free? Check it out, digest it. If you resonate with me and you resonate with my message, then we can connect. Do you want me to send you that stuff?
I do.
You do? Okay. Now again, I'm posturing. Okay? So now you want me to send you information, right? I could have easily started selling you right there, but chose not to. Well, how would you like me to send that to you? Do you want me to email it to you, mail it to you in the mail, send it via carrier pigeon? How do you? I add carrier pigeon every single time because humor creates rapport. Okay? How do you want me to send it to you?
Oh, sorry. Here's my card.
Boom. I didn't ask her for her card. Okay? So what I'm going to do, hand me your card, please. So we're in a networking event. Now I love this card. That is actually a sick card. You know she's an interior designer because it's unique, it's very well designed. Okay? So everybody out there, because we're live, everybody out there, this is how you should do a card. If you're an interior designer or graphic designer or anything like that, you should be unique. Okay? So I get your card, okay, so once you give me your card, it's like, okay, so Nikki, interior designer, all right, so do you want me to email it to this email right here?
Yes, please.
Okay, is that the best phone number to get a hold of you at?
Yes.
Cool. What typically is the best time of the day to get a hold of you?
I would say 10 a.m. or later.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll send this out to you tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
All right, cool. Thank you. Good seeing you. And I'm gonna say, hey, anything else that you want to talk about? No? Okay. Now, if we're in an actual live network event, you know what she's gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Ask for yours.
Okay. She's gonna ask me for my card. Otherwise, I ain't giving it to her. It's posturing. You see? So she wants what I have. I'm gonna send it to her. She asked me for a card. We now have a really good opportunity to have an actual relationship, right? Because it's not just me selling, it's me doing some of the buying and vice versa. And I will tell you this, when you go after relationships that way, how I was able to get from $0 to $1 million in 3 years, I had a website that cost like, I don't know, $400. I didn't have any social media marketing. I didn't have any, I went to a networking event, I met some strategic partners, and we met once a month. That's it. 4 strategic partners. To go from 0 to 352,000 the first year, 685 the second year, 1,037 the third year, 1,047 the fourth year. Yeah, because of that. Exactly what I just told you to do. So be more strategic about it. This is actually a sick card. I really like that card. And so the reason you want to have this down is that is what you're going to use for your bait, because that's what you're doing for your customers. Okay? And everybody understand the importance of a mission statement. Okay? The vision statement and the mission statement is the hardest thing of the whole plan. Everything else is going to be downhill from here. And so we talked about the inner game. Okay? Vision statement, mission statement, and a couple of other things. What time do we have?
It's 12:35.
12:35. So we're gonna jam now, okay? Because we're gonna be done here by 1. Okay, objectives, okay? What are the specific measures? Here's the different types of objectives: revenues, marketing, profitability, human resources, number of escrows, email database, residential percentage, commercial percentage. Okay, in fact, I think the last time I did this at a presentation was to a real estate company, obviously. Okay, but it could be things like, I always like to start with revenues when I'm hitting objectives, and I do objectives for annual. What is it that I want? We're talking about 2020. Now, here's exactly step by step what I will do in my own business. Okay, I've been doing this since 1992. Okay, and when I learned one-page strategic plan, I started doing it in 2006 in this format. But prior to that, it's still the same thing. Is I get a notepad, and I have a separate notepad for each year. Now I do it on a computer, but prior to that, I have a notepad. Okay. Open up a Word doc, and I call it 2020 planning. I have my vision statement, my mission statement. Typically that doesn't change. The vision statement gets updated because I'm 1 year closer to the goal. Or, if I look at it and I go, you know what, it was the 3-year vision statement last year, but there was a lot of unknowns, especially if I'm in a new business, there's a lot of unknowns, and there's no way in heck I'm going to get there in 3 years. I'm going to change the vision at that point. Because I have to have it be real to me. Okay, so I put vision statement, mission statement. Now starting, in my case, my birthday is December 8th. And so my birthday marks the beginning of a new year for me. So how this exercise works for me, from Thanksgiving until December 8th is when I do this type of planning. Because I plan on my birthday, not on the new year. Okay? And so what I will do, and Allison will see me do this, is I have an area called objectives. And I start off with revenue. And then I create a laundry list. Like, every day I try to spend 5 to 10 minutes. What do I want to get done next year? I'm just making a list, man. Like a massive list, sometimes 3-4 pages of crap I want to get done next year. I'm in creative mode. What is it that I want to get done? I want to get it out of my head and onto that paper. I don't need to put any pressure on myself at this point. Because keep in mind, I'm not talking about 2020, I'm not talking about right now. And so I'm going to do my morning routine, I'm going to do my, I'm grateful for, what I want to get accomplished, and I'm going to start adding things to my objectives list. Now, when I'm doing my annual planning, I'm just talking about one-page strategic business plan. When you're talking about your life, you want to look at a couple of different F's. Like in my case, faith. You can call it faith, spirituality, whatever. Family. Fitness. Finance. Friends. Fun. Okay. You. Whatever areas you want to start setting goals in, make a list of those areas. And ask yourself, okay, what do I want to get accomplished this next year? Now, don't confuse this with New Year's Eve resolutions. New Year's Eve resolutions, it's like, most of the time, we're 3 to 4 drinks into it, and we decide, you know what, Joe? That's what I'm going to do this next year, right? And so we got all kinds of courage when that happens. I'm talking about doing this ahead of time. It's like, hey, today is the first day of the rest of your life, okay? You woke up this morning, et cetera, et cetera. Start making a laundry list. If you're going to do this based on 2020, heck, man, you got to the last week of December to do this. Start now. Just start getting a list, man. What are the objectives you want to get accomplished for next year? Then what you do is you start whittling it down. Can I take any of these objectives and by achieving this one, I accomplish these 5? By achieving this one, I get these done. And you start grouping them and start whittling them down. Your goal is to whittle the objectives down to 9. Now, here's an objective because some people get confused about this. Objectives kind of follow the rule of SMART goals. Anybody knows what SMART goals are? So SMART goals means specific, measurable. A could be, depends on your mindset, could be attainable, could be achievable, could be actionable. I'm sure glad Steve Jobs never ever in his life, well, I don't know about never in his life, but did not have achievable or attainable in his vocabulary. Because if that was the case, we wouldn't have the iPhone. We wouldn't have anything else. Because nobody else thought that crap was attainable or achievable. He did. Because he didn't put any limits on his mind. I like actionable. Okay? Is it relevant? Meaning relevant to you. Who decides if it's relevant? You. More importantly, time bound. So it's got to be specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and time bound is the definition of an objective. I've got to be able to measure it. Okay? Once I have objectives, now it comes down to is, okay, what are the strategies I'm going to use to get there? Let's just take revenue, for example. And if you're in a business here, revenue is a, everybody got this?
Yeah.
Good. We just take revenues, and we're in business. And let's just say this last year you did 100K. And let's just say next year, this is 2019, and let's just say next year, 2020, you want to do 250K. Okay? So what I would do in helping you plan the right strategy is take 100K and say, okay, how many calls did I make? How many leads did I add to my database? How many sales did I make? What were the value of those sales? Take the entire revenue that you have right now, divide it by the number of sales that you currently have, and you're going to get your average sale. So for simple math, let's just say we have an average sale of 10K. So 10K, 100K divided by 10K is 10. So if I want to, if I changed nothing in my business and continue to do the same thing, how many sales would I need to make in 2020 to make 250K? 25, right? So now I've got to come up with a strategy on how I'm going to go from 10 sales in that year to 25 sales. So instead of less than 1 per month, I'm going to do, what is that going to be? 2.1 sales per month. So is anybody in here in a retail business? No. Everybody's in a service-based business? Yeah, kind of service-based, right?
Yeah, kind of retail.
Service product-based, okay? So if you look at it this way and go, okay, there are contacts, there are appointments ran, and there are sales. Now, there's a lot more things to measure, but this is simple. The more simple you can keep this, the easier it's gonna be to achieve. What I consider an appointment ran is I met with you, I went through the discovery with you, and I'm talking your type of business. I walked through your home, I sat with you as husband and wife, I got a look at all your furniture, I did all my measurements. I looked at the color scheme, I looked at the stuff that you currently have, how much of that are we gonna keep, how much are we gonna discard, what's your budget? There's so many different variables in your type of business. And I'll say, okay, give me about a week, and I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna present to you an interior design plan. Kinda how it goes, right? Okay? So I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna come back. Now, what I would consider an appointment ran is after you've been through all of that, and you came back, and you sat down in front of me and my spouse, and said, hey, here's my plan, do you wanna buy? So when you're measuring appointments ran, that's what I would consider an appointment ran. There's all these steps associated with getting there, okay? But I want to track important things, the important number, okay? Contacts are important because I need to constantly be adding new wood to the fire. The only fear, the only time I ever have fear in my business, and it doesn't matter in the business I have now or any business I've ever owned, the only time I ever have fear is when I know, I look in my mirror and I know that I'm not adding contacts to my database. Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, this is the only thing that makes me nervous. Doesn't matter what happens in the economy, the Dow goes up and down, President Trump tweets 25 times a day, it doesn't matter what happens, okay? What happens, the only thing that gives me security in my business, am I contacting people, new people, about my business? I came here today. There are 5 new contacts being added to my database, okay? So, I need to know how many contacts. Then ultimately I want to track my sales. Okay? Now I want to determine, okay, let's talk about a quarter. Quarter's typically going to be 90 days. Okay? Calendar days. 21 average business days per month. So we're talking 63 days. Okay? Barring holidays, let's just say 60. So let's create a 60-day tracker. Okay? And what a strategy is this. 60 times 2 is what? 120. So my first strategy is I'm going to contact 2 people a day about my business. That's a strategy. Okay? Contact. We got to define a contact. Because I used to do this with Dave Vanny because I just wanted to put a tick mark, right? And I would justify what a contact was until he says, let me give you the exact definition of what a contact. They are a decision maker. I have their phone number. In this day and age, I have their email. And they are in my target. And that's a contact. Okay? And so I'm going to take a sheet of paper, a database or whatever, and I'm going to put 3 rows, and I'm going to number 1 through 60. And each day, at the end of the day, I'm going to write down what the number was. 1, 2, 5, 0, whatever the number was, I'm going to write down the number. Because the strategy is to contact 2 people. Now, on here, what do I actually have control of? Well, I as an individual, The serenity prayer goes like this. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Okay? The courage to control what I can control, and the wisdom to know the difference what I have no control of. What on this, of these three things, do I have control of?
Contacts.
Correct.
Calling.
Do I have any control over whether the appointment runs? Do I have any control over whether the sale happens? I mean, I can go and present, and I can do my best, and if I have an 80% close ratio, I have not yet met one person on the planet that has a 100% close ratio.
Excuse me.
Okay? So, in my type of business, I have an 86% close ratio. In my IT business, I had a 42% close ratio. Because I track this. Okay? So what you want to do is you want to track this, because let's just say here we are, we're 60 days and this is going to be, this is over probably a $500,000 to $1 million lesson and idea for you. If you do what I'm telling you right now, you'll make $500,000 to $1 million in the next 3 years. At the end of 60 days, you're going to add the numbers up. Let's just say it was 120. And let's just say you ran 45 appointments in that 60-day period of time. And let's just say you made $126,000 in sales. Okay? Now, who's got a calculator? The phone or the calculator.
Go.
What I need is I need some math done. $126,000 divided by 120.
6,300.
Huh?
6,300.
$6,300. $126,000 divided by 45.
2,800.
2,800? Now, how is 126,000 divided by 45 more than?
It should be 1,050 on the top, the first one, yeah.
How much?
Half figures.
1,050,
1,050?
yes.
Okay. And 60. All right, hold on just a second. Okay, cool. So I got my number. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. So the beauty of this is it lets me know. I made 120 contacts. 45 people ran the appointment. Did everybody run the appointment? I got some no's, right? But every single contact was worth how much? 1,050. I ran 45 appointments. Not everybody said yes. Unless, of course, I'm a phenom that I had a 100% close ratio, right? But $2,800 per appointment ran. So when I'm there, do I care if they say no, yes, or no? No. So now I've got my math, and I've ran this for a quarter, so now when I sit down and I do my planning for the second quarter of 2020, what do I have to decide? What number do I have to mess with if I want to make a difference in the next quarter?
Your contacts.
The only number I need to modify. My mentor Dave Vanny, when he does this, he goes to homes and he goes up to the front door and he knocks. And then he waits. And then he has a conversation with them and he's trying to sell them on this Texcoat paint thing on the thing, and then home improvement stuff on the outside. Makes about $700,000 a year doing this. Okay? But what he's discovered is he doesn't have to do anything other than make 21 contacts a day. That's it. Some days he makes some appointments, some days he doesn't. At the end of the quarter, when he sits down and measured it, the numbers shake out. He says, John, there'll be times where there'll be 12 days in a row that I won't make a single sale. And I call that living in the desert. You know? But at the end of the day, the numbers shake out. Okay? And so when it comes down to strategy, when you're talking about revenue, it comes down to the first strategy that's gonna work for every single one of your businesses is how many contacts are you gonna make on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis in your business. A contact would be, hey, what was your name
Del.
again, sir?
Del.
Todd?
Del.
Del? Hey, Del, you and I have a conversation. Hey, I want to talk to you about my business. Do you have time this week or next week for a 10-minute phone call? In other words, a contact is I've asked you for an appointment. Okay? I've asked you, you allowed me to ask for the opportunity to talk to you about my business. That's what I would consider a contact. Okay? So that's minimum what you want to track. When you're brand new in business, I want to track how many leads do I have in my database right now? How many leads did I add this week? How many marketing touches did I send to those people? Okay? And I'm recording this, by the way. You'll get a copy of the recording. Okay? How many contacts? How many appointments did I set? In most of our businesses, if it's not a one-call close, how many discovery appointments did I run? Because that's going to be the real next step is, how many of you know 80% of the sale is done in the discovery appointment? If I ask the right questions, they're going to give me enough ammo that I can use on them when I come back. If I come back and I sell them on what they're interested in, not on what I think they need, they'll buy most of the time. Okay. So how many discovery appointments did I set? How many discovery appointments did I run? Okay. How many close the deal appointments did I run? And how many sales I made? When I'm brand new, I want to know the answer to all of that. And over time, you get your business to the point where there's only 3 or 4 things that you need to measure. But in the beginning, I need to fix things on a more micro level. I need my scripts down, things like that. Okay. So this is how you design. Once you get your objectives done, these are what we call strategies. Okay. So that's just one strategy that will work for every single one of your businesses. How are you going to accomplish objectives? Okay, we talked about strategies. Let me give you an exercise to do every single quarter in your business, and we're going to start wrapping it up. What's the time we got?
12:57.
Perfect. Okay. Baseline strategy. It's an outer game, and it's a system. Learned this in 1992. Wasn't able to put a name to it until 2012. Basically, what it is this. Pick the period of time that you want to measure. You can use baseline strategy in your business, your finance, your relationships with your spouses, significant other, your children, your health, your fitness. Any area of your life you would like to see an improvement, you can use this strategy. And it goes like this. Let's just say this is your number. You did $126,000 in the quarter. That would be your baseline. What's also included in your baseline is every single thing that you did to achieve the $126,000. That's why we want to measure. How many contacts did I make? How many appointments did I run? I want to measure what I did to achieve the $126,000. That's also part of my baseline. Next part is the strategy is this. I want to continue to do what I've been doing because it's producing a predictable result. Then what I want to do is one of 3 things or all 3. I either want to subtract something from my baseline, something that was not working. Okay? How many of us, we continue to do something, the same thing over and over and over and over again? It's going to work this time, right? It's the definition of insanity, right? Or what is something that we can modify or improve? Or my favorite thing is what can I add to my baseline? And I'm only looking for 1 or 2 things. If I'm measuring a quarter, I try as a business, even as a coach and consulting these clients, I try not to let them add more than 3 things to their baseline in a calendar quarter. because it takes about a calendar quarter for a strategy to actually work. Where I see business owners failing the most and not having consistent results is they come up with this idea of what they should go do, and then after a week and a half to 2 weeks of it not working, they change courses again. And then they change courses, and then, oh, that didn't work, so I'm gonna go down this road, and oh, that didn't work, I'm gonna go, and they're like Pac-Man, right? Remember the Pac-Man game? I mean, it's like, they're going this way, and they're not getting there. So a strategy is, you sit down, you take some time, you think about it through, what is one thing I can add to my baseline that will give me a better result this next quarter? I wanted to add a executive assistant to my staff this quarter. I did. I wanted to add a project manager and a sales assistant to my team, and I did. And I wanted to add a graphic designer, well, primarily a video and audio guy, but I ended up getting a video, audio guy, and graphic designer, and kind of a web maintenance guy, all in one dude.
Nice.
Out of the Philippines for $5 an hour. I was like, this is great, right? And so, and the only reason it happened is because it was part of my plan, and I put it out there, and it just happened. I can't tell you how many things have I have gotten accomplished on my plan just because I put them on there. And they just kind of happen because they're kind of like, I have to focus on this plan every week or two, and my brain just goes to work at it. And that's how our brains work. And that's why I like a one-page plan. So now, what I've got to do is, because those people are on board, they're going to implement the strategies that are going to help me to get to the objectives. Because they were required to be added in order to execute on those strategies, right? So once you've figured out your strategies, and you figured out what you're going to do this next quarter, what is the strategy I can add to my baseline, the next question is this: what is needed to implement that strategy? That's always going to be the question. So objectives are annual, strategies are quarterly, and once you have your strategies down, now you're going to ask yourself, what needs to be done this month in order for that strategy to work? What's missing? And that's where we get into, we're going to skip that. I'm going to come back to that. I'll send you guys, I've recorded this before, I'll send it to you, okay? But I want to get to the most important thing here, which is, geez, okay, action plans, okay? So you're going to look at your strategies and go, okay, what, let's just say, contacts. I need to contact 2 new people a day. Well, action plan would be, do you have enough places to go to contact people? The other thing is, if you want to contact 120 people a day, do you have a database? If you don't have a database, you should have a database. Okay, the database could be less annoying CRM. It could be Zoho. It could be, I would stay away from Salesforce until you're huge, right? Less annoying CRM will fit most people because it snaps into MailChimp. It's like 30 days free and then $10 a month. Okay? Street? Yeah. Okay? So you're going to figure out, okay, what are the actions that I need to put in place in order to get there? Okay? Action plans are what it needs to get done this month in order to use these strategies. Okay. What time you have?
1 and 3.
Okay, so we can end it right now because I want to end. I don't want to take you any longer, or I can take another 10 to 15 minutes and give you guys some some even more strategies. Which would you rather do?
I do have an appointment I have to run to.
No
I
worries.
would stay, but
Okay, I'm going to record this so you'll get it.
I have to run to a meeting as well.
Okay, so let's do this then. If you want to connect with me, okay? Because the other thing is I'm going to do this at the Better Business Bureau on December 4th. It's going to be a longer appointment.
In Rancho?
But if you want to connect with me, just go to johnpyron.com. Grab my card on the table over there. okay? And, click on book appointment. You'll see 3 tabs. One's called a 10 to 15 minute conversation. Just book it, right? Doesn't cost you a dime. Give it to you for free, okay? And basically, I'm just gonna ask you, what's your number 1 objective? What would you like to get accomplished? How can I help you? Okay? If I can't help you, I know people that can, okay? I will send everybody the recording of this. If, leave me your card or give it to Allison, okay? Grab my card, send me your information. I'll send you the recording of this. I got this entire presentation recorded elsewhere, where I hit on all the bullet points, and I'll send it to you as well. Whatever I can do to help you get your goals, that's what I wanna do. Okay? Did you guys get a lot of value today?
Absolutely. Appreciate your time.